Hello, Superboy Beyond fans. Welcome back. It's Chris and Tom here. We are coming back with one of our patented episode commentaries. This is going to be a sad day for us because it is the final episode of the Ruby Spears Superman. So
we will be doing a retrospective on it probably next week. But yeah, this is the last time we'll be watching an episode, well, a full episode anyway. We'll probably watch that little commercial thing that you said reuses the art style and actors. So we'll watch that at the beginning of our retrospective on the whole thing. But yeah, this is the last one. It is sad. I'm enjoying this show. I wish it had got at least one more season. But
I kind of wish it had gotten more than 13 episodes. But you know, having spoken to Ruby Spears themselves when they still had a website before they were bought out by Hanna-Barbera, aka Warner Brothers. I asked them why the show was canceled, and they said because the licensing rights were way too high.
Right.
So
it always comes down to money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every time. Oh, well.
Plus, I would also suspect that the fact that CBS put it on like crack of dawn, early morning, 8:00 in the morning on a Saturday, probably did not help.
Yeah, I mean, there's that whole thing, isn't there? Saturday morning cartoons, like kids did get up for cartoons, but there was a limit still. You know, it was a Saturday. They didn't want to get up right at the crack of dawn. So depending on how early you're talking about, I can imagine that really hurting the ratings for sure.
Although, you know, I can remember in the 70s when the Super Friends was on, they were on at like 7:30, and Saturday morning I would go into my dad and I say, "Can I put the TV on?" And his response was always, "Yes, low."
Yeah. Man, I have some good memories of waking up early to go sneak downstairs and watch TV. I would just do it before my parents would wake up. There was 2 cartoon shows I would watch every morning on Saturdays, and it was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the animated series, and Super Mario Brothers Super Show / Mario Brothers 3 / Super Mario World. They sort of alternated which of the 3 shows it was, but they're all basically the same thing.
Was that the one with Captain Lou Albano as the host?
That was Super Show. That was the first one, yeah.
Okay.
I liked him. I didn't see many episodes of that. They mostly just alternated between SMB3 and Super Mario World, the animated series. I think Mario World was my favorite at the time, but that's just because it was my favorite game at that time.
Yep.
But yeah, some good memories of that. The Bill and Ted animated series was underrated. Like, I never hear people talk about it, but I used to really, really like that show.
Never watched it, so
it was pretty funny, you know. I mean, you still hear people every now and then talk about the Back to the Future animated series. You know, it's rare, but you even hear people talk about the Mask animated series, and I loved that.
One episode of both of those didn't go on.
No. Oh well. Yeah. Anyway.
Yep. Let's get started.
Ruby Spears time.
So get your DVD, or if you have a downloaded copy ready. It's season 1, disc 2, episode 13. The Last Time I Saw Earth, and it's Superman. So I'm gonna count you in with a 3, 2, 1. Boo hoo. And we'll get started. So, everybody, get ready. 3, 2, 1. Boo hoo.
So yeah, we won't be hearing this theme tune for a while. I suppose unless we watch the Christopher Reeve movies, but it's not quite the same version.
Yeah.
It's a better version, but still.
This opening sequence is so great. I mean, it just encapsulated what Superman is. And
I wonder if the licensing rights, in order to continue doing this show, weren't so high. It makes me wonder how much money they would have had freed up to make the animation this level of quality in the actual episodes themselves.
yeah. But there is this show kind of is a precursor to Batman the Animated Series in a way, because nowhere in the opening sequence do you see the word Superman,
Yeah,
just
it's
like
not until
Batman
the
the
episode
Animated.
title there.
Yeah,
Like until you see that, which I guess is still part of the opening sequence, but you don't need the word Superman because you had the symbol on screen. That's basically all you need.
yep. And this episode is written by famous comic book writer Steve Gerber, creator of Howard the Duck.
Indeed. Did he create Mantis as well? Am I right about that?
I
And
think
then he
so.
like moved over to like DC and just basically reused the character but changed the name. I vaguely remember hearing a story about that.
Yeah.
I only know Mantis from the Guardians movies, though, to be honest.
Yep. So,
Interesting ship design.
yep. So our villain here is Starrock. He is member of a race of aliens that first showed up, I believe, in the Omega Men series back in the 80s.
Hmm.
And then also was involved with the Tamaranians, Starfire's people from Teen Titans.
Cool.
But the character himself is all new to any kind of continuity. I think what they were doing here with him is they were trying to create an XP of Mongol, as Mongol had not showed up again in the comics at this point.
Hmm. It was an interesting design. So maybe it started as a more Mongol looking character and they had to make it look less and less like it or something.
Well, a lot of the characters that they created, as new characters, they were all done as ways to get around DC characters that were Superman foes that he hadn't fought yet
Hmm.
at this point or they hadn't really established them.
I tell you what, just seeing the inside of like the spaceships and stuff and the sets, man, I would have loved Ruby Spears to do like a Star Wars or a Star Trek animated series at some point. Like
Mm.
it really does feel like after the Star Trek animated series ended, Ruby Spears easily could have picked it up and continued it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ruby Spears was they were a quality studio.
And we talk a lot about how good the background art has been throughout this show. I think we've said it in every single episode. Like, how good is that background art?
Yeah.
Like, they clearly had a very talented painter on staff. Like, I just see these sets and I just think, man, they could have just absolutely killed a Star Wars or Star Trek show.
Mm.
I do really like this show's version of Lois. She's always got like a sarcastic or some sort of criticism or something that she can say for a laugh.
Yeah.
And I do still think it's funny that they basically reused this haircut for Terry Hatcher when they made Lois and Clark.
Well, I mean, this was the late 80s. Hatcher showed up as Lois in 94, was it?
Yeah. It's
So I mean,
possible this was a, something they did. I know the story of Terry Hatcher coming into the audition with long hair and she just cut it into a bob. And that's how she got the part, by showing she was that committed. So maybe it was a coincidence, but still. I mean, even just his silhouette, like you can tell he's slightly Mongol inspired for sure.
Yeah. We ought to have Marv Wolfman on and see if that was the intention.
Who knows? Maybe I'll see him at a Comic Con at some point, and I'll ask him on camera for us and see if he'll come on the podcast. I've met him once before. He was one of the very few comic book creators that wasn't charging for the first autograph. Like you said, the first one's free. It's just anything after that you have to pay a fee, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I wish more of them would do that, but I guess they wouldn't make as much money.
Well, I will say this. When I met Jim Shooter at Eternal Con several years back, he did not charge for any autographs at all.
Wow.
And there was one guy in front of me who had a box full of Marvel books. And all I wanted was to get one book signed, and that was his first Legion issue that he wrote in the 60s.
Yeah, it's always a little bit annoying. I always think if you want to get someone to sign like a huge box full of stuff, like there should be like, you know how you have to like book in for photos and like
Yeah.
show up at a certain time. Like if you've got a lot of stuff to sign, you should have like an appointment where you have to show up and they'll do it then. It shouldn't just be at the table.
Yep.
The sad thing when I saw Marv Wolfman though, like there was basically no one at his table. It like I didn't have to queue even for a second. Like I just walked straight up, which I just thought was quite sad because the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he made very much money there, but still, if they paid for him to fly over from the United States to London, like he must have been worth his while.
Yeah. So
Interesting visuals during this fight.
Yeah, this version of Superman, um, he's doing things that at the time in the comics Superman had been depowered not to do.
Mm.
So of course, flying into hyperspace under his own power, they took that away when Byrne took over.
I always thought that was a bit of a shame. Like speed shouldn't be something that was necessarily taken away from him. Like I get it with strength, like you want to depower him just ever so slightly, but I don't know. I always liked that Superman could just fly across the galaxy without a ship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's suggested even in Superboy that Bizarro can do that because he disappears off into space for a while. You know, he's got to be moving pretty fast. And even the opening sequence says that Superboy's got the speed of light. So, like, it's in the opening narration for seasons 3 and 4. Yeah, some interesting visuals in this episode. Quite trippy in places. I tell you what, that last shot there, the fact that they actually blurred stuff that was in the foreground and background or whatever, that's a detail you don't see very often in old animation.
Yeah.
Like they actually had camera focus in that shot.
He's lucky that this system is in a yellow sun.
Yeah. Unlucky that the buildings are made of lead, but he's still got powers, so it's not too bad. Yeah, interesting designs with these creatures. Like they do look vaguely like Mongol or Darkseid, but it's sort of like crossed with like a space orc or something.
Yeah.
He's an interesting looking villain.
Yes.
I like his design a lot.
Very Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, it's Jabba the Hutt, but the face is pure nightmare fuel.
Well, remember who the writer on this is. It's
Yeah.
Steve Gerber.
Yeah, this episode definitely is very Star Wars inspired. You can tell just right down to all the designs are just straight out stuff. I mean, now we've got a cantina scene.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely the Star Wars episode. Didn't Steve Gerber write for Star Wars comics at one point? Or am I completely wrong about that?
That's a possibility. I mean, he did work for Marvel.
Hmm.
He-
I thought he invented, what is it, Jax, that green rabbit character that everybody hates, but I had an action figure of for some reason when I was a kid.
hmm.
Huh. Apparently, he did contribute to Star Wars during the early expanded universe era.
Hmm.
He used to draw, no, not draw, he used to write a comic book strip, a newspaper strip, which ran from September to November in '79. So he was one of the earliest Star Wars comic
Yep.
people.
I have. I actually have all 3 volumes of that strip
Oh, nice.
in hardcover. Still haven't read it.
I have books like that. I have a couple of Green Lantern ones that I literally bought because they're trade paperbacks and I got them for £1 each. I was like, at that price, I can't not buy them. But I'm not a huge Green Lantern fan, so I've just never actually got around to reading them.
Yep.
Yeah, I really do like that main villain design. Sort of slightly Jabba, but
With legs.
with legs, and it's that face. That face is so creepy. These aliens are pretty cool looking as well.
Yeah, that's one thing you can say about Ruby Spears. They had an attention to detail when it came to designing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously though. Ruby Spears should have made a Star Wars animated series. I'm guessing that had nothing to do with that droids show that was out for a while.
No.
Similar level of animation, I would say. Maybe not
Well,
quite as good.
yeah. I mean, the Ruby Spears stuff is far better than the stuff that we got from Droids and then Ewoks, the animated series.
Yeah, I had a couple of episodes of Droids on video when I was a kid. I think I watched it once. I was a big Star Wars fan, so I got it, and I never watched it again.
Yeah.
I always forget there was that, what is it, Caravan of Hope or something as well, the TV movies about Ewoks, live
Oh
action
yeah.
Star Wars.
With
People never talk about those. Like, there's actual Star Wars movies in live action that people just never talk about anymore. I guess
they
the
have
holiday special takes the attention.
well those three, the holiday special and then the 2 Ewoks movies, George Lucas has pretty much abandoned.
Mm.
He says they don't exist.
You know, I haven't heard terrible things about the Ewoks movies, not compared to the holiday special anyway. And I always liked the Ewoks. Like, I have an action figure Ewok on my shelf. Like, maybe I'll watch them at some point.
Mm.
It's the kind of thing that I wish Disney Plus would just put on their service.
Well, now that Kathleen Kennedy is no longer in charge of Star Wars, maybe they will.
Maybe. I'll say this for Kathleen Kennedy, though. I do appreciate that she let the filmmakers basically have free reign with very little interference. Like that's one good thing I'll say for her. I do think they needed a plan though.
Well, the
The
plan
fact that
that
you
they
can
had,
tell each movie was just made up as they went along really hurts it.
was just, hey, let's take the original the trilogy movies and mix them up and remake them.
Pretty much, yeah. I do wish Colin Trevorrow had got to finish. Like he was supposed to do the third in the sequel trilogy, and they fired him in the end after Last Jedi. But I don't know how well the movie would have turned out, but from the pitches and the leaked script and all of that, like it sounded like a legitimately better conclusion to that trilogy. Like it would have actually done something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, even this kid has a pretty cool alien design. Like it reminds me of something, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this villain, I really do like his design. Like just the face, just really creepy. Like I wish the Beast Beneath These Streets episode had the monster have a scarier face like that. That's all I can think is all the episodes we've had up to now where there's creatures that are supposed to be slightly scary and weren't. I
Well,
wish they.
Bone Show wasn't too bad.
Mm, yeah, he was okay. It was a cool looking sort of space station planet thing as well.
Very reminiscent of the of Argo City in the
Mm,
classic Superman comics.
absolutely. That was great. I really enjoyed that episode.
Yep.
And now we have the family album, which I hope is also a good one.
It's pretty good for a final one.
Obviously, from the title, I'm guessing this is his introduction as the character.
Yep.
Which is interesting that they do this in the last episode of the show. Like, it almost sounds like it's the basis for what would have been the pilot.
And it doesn't this episode itself doesn't really feel like a family album episode.
No, it's basically just another episode of the regular show. Maybe when we're doing our rankings of every episode, we'll just include this alongside the main episodes instead. Otherwise, it will just easily get the top spot. I've got to say the poses and stuff that they have like the characters in are always very dynamic in this show as well.
Mm, yeah.
So they have a real attention to detail when it comes to like body language and stuff.
It's a lost art in animation doing that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And that tank must have been really hard to animate. Like nowadays, they would just use like a 3D model and rotoscope it or something. Like I can't imagine like every time that tank like slightly changes angle, it would have had to have been a whole nother drawing.
Mm.
Like in yeah, even vehicles like the camper van, you know. I miss hand drawn animation like this. I know you still technically get it, but it's all on computers now, and
It, I think they've kind of lost the ability to do things right.
to a certain extent, absolutely. I mean, every other animated show these days seem to even use the same art style. You know, there must just be like a piece of software that's really easy and quick for animating with. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be. Obviously, I'm not an animator, but I don't remember seeing the Daily Planet news van in any other episode of this show.
First episode.
Okay, so they used it in the first and the last episodes. I do like how the Superman in this show as well. Like he looks like a sort of cross between the John Byrne and Christopher Reeve Supermans. Like there are some shots where the face really does look like Reeve.
And this whole sequence right here is very much like an XP of the Lois rescue in the first Superman movie.
Hmm. It's interesting though that they literally saw him take off and fly away and still said the "it's a bird, it's a plane." Like the line didn't quite make sense there, in my opinion. There's a time and a place to use that line. That was not it.
Yeah.
Like they literally saw him take off. He was just talking to them. But yeah, apart from that, that was a really good family album.
Probably, I think this family album is probably the best of them.
It does just kind of feel like the first half of what could have been the pilot, though.
Mm.
Like it doesn't quite feel like a family album episode. Still, though, I thoroughly enjoyed that both parts. Like it's quite rare that both parts of the episode are legit good.
Mm.
Like I would say both parts are 8.5 out of 10 for me. Like I thought this was maybe even one of the best episodes so far.
Yeah, I agree. This is by far the highest ranked amongst us. I would agree.
Really,
8.5.
is that like across like other?
I don't know about anybody outside of us, but
Right. Well, I really enjoyed it. 8.5. I think that's a fair score. Man, it's sad that I just have this sort of feeling now in my stomach and my chest, like sadness, because it's over.
yeah.
And the fact that it went out on such a high note. I mean, it wasn't intended to be the finale, but it works damn well as one.
Mm.
I mean, maybe not the space stuff in the first half of the episode. Like, I mean, that doesn't feel too much like a finale. But I mean, if they had actually used Mongol for it, that absolutely would have been finale material.
Mm.
So, yeah, man, I'm sad this is over. Tell you what, since next week we're going to do our retrospective on the whole series, maybe we'll call it there and we'll discuss it a little bit more when we do our retrospective.
Yep.
Would be fun to announce though. Decided on what show is going to replace Ruby Spears. I know we're watching a lot of different Superman shows at the same time, but we like to mix it up, keep it fun for us. But yeah, we're going to start watching the Linda Carter Wonder Woman show. I've ordered it on Blu-ray, and I'm basically just waiting for it to arrive. Um,
I've only got it on DVD, but my copy is very good quality.
yeah, was it the same? Like, was it the version that was released at the same time as the Blu-ray? Because I know they released the box set on both formats.
Well, they released the DVD first, and then it was a few years later that they released the Blu-ray set.
Okay. Well, it's the same episode, so I doubt we'll be out of sync at any point. But yeah, I'm excited to start watching this show. I've seen a few episodes when I was a kid, but I remember absolutely nothing about them. Um, I remember liking Linda Carter in the role, but I had nothing to compare it to. To be honest, I still think, let's face it. Now, if you're comparing her to live action Wonder Woman, there's what was the actress's name? She did the TV movie that you told me about.
Kathy Lee Crosby.
Yeah, Kathy Lee Crosby. I'm guessing she's not quite as good in the role. And
For what she was playing, it was pretty good. I mean, they almost took away almost all of the Amazon stuff.
huh,
She's blonde,
really?
and it's more of a like a James Bond style TV movie.
Okay.
She has
Um,
some of her abilities, but not a lot.
okay. So yeah, at some point maybe we'll watch that. I'm in no immediate rush to get it, just purely because I looked up the DVD and it's pretty expensive for one TV movie from the 70s that's not even very good.
Yeah.
I'm not paying like 30 plus pounds to get this on DVD. Like if it was Blu-ray, like remastered to HD, maybe I'd think about it, but no. um, so yeah, we're gonna watch Linda Carter Wonder Woman at some point,
Yep.
probably starting next week. As you know, because we're doing our retrospective next week, so maybe the week after.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we have that to look forward to. Um, and let's face it, as I was saying, like the only other live action Wonder Woman you could compare Linda Carter to would be Gal Gadot. And I'll be honest, I
Actually,
don't
there is one
really.
other,
There's another live action Wonder Woman.
Adrienne Palicki.
Of course, there is from that TV from the pilot.
Yep.
Maybe we'll watch that at some point. I've seen it before, but I remember not liking it very much, which is a shame because I really like the showrunner. Like, I think the showrunner's work in other stuff is just phenomenal. Like, I love Boston Legal, and it's the same David Kelly. Like, it's the same creator.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking with Wonder Woman, but it
Well,
did not work.
the thing about Adrienne Palicki is she has a habit of getting a pilot and then it doesn't go to series.
Which is a shame because she's legitimately a really good actress. Like she's great in Agents of Shield. I thought she was great in that. Like they were gonna spin it off and have her with this other character do their own show. Like they did one pilot.
Marvel's Most Wanted, yeah.
Yeah, they did a pilot. It's never even been shown. Like I would love to see that pilot because man, and they were going to do the Ghost Rider TV show as well with the what's his name, the one with the Ghost Rider with the car. He
Yeah.
was in Agents of Shield as well, and he was great. People loved him, and then they just didn't make his show. They wrote him off, and then didn't make his show.
Yeah, and then of course Adrienne Palicki also was in the Aquaman pilot, Mercy Reef.
Do you know? I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So she has a habit of superhero pilots that she does, and then they don't go to series.
It's a shame.
It's
I do
almost like
remember
she's
thinking that she was good as Diana. Like I remember thinking she was good in the role. It's just that it was a terrible script and a terrible story, and the setting was all wrong. The costume was awful.
well, she had 3 costumes throughout the whole show,
But
and
that none of them were good.
when she got the more classic suit at the end, it was better.
Hmm. I don't
Not
I don't
great.
remember any of the suits being particularly good.
Mm.
I just remember thinking, there was that episode of Smallville where they went to a costume party and Lois shows up in a Wonder Woman costume. And it
Yeah.
was such an incredible costume. Like, it had so much detail. It was perfect. And I was like, if you make a Wonder Woman show or even a movie, that suit would have been spot on. Like, not every detail was exactly right because they had to make it slightly different, probably
Yeah.
for rights issues, but it looked really, really good. If they'd used a costume like that for the show, I don't know. I just remember when they were even filming this pilot, there was like set photos that were leaking and people just saying like, this looks so bad. So, yeah, maybe we'll watch that at some point. I'm sure she's
Yeah, for
still
shits
better
and
than Gal
giggles.
Gadot in the role. This has been a bit of a we've gone off in a couple of tangents throughout this episode. Like, in the episode we ended up talking about Star Wars for a bit, and now we've talked about Wonder Woman for a while. But yeah, I
Well,
hope you've all
Tom, we
enjoyed the
really
episode.
haven't done a meandering fishtail.
Yeah, we've not gone on any real tangents like this for a
Yeah,
while. Like, there's been a couple that we've gone off on tangents for a few minutes, but it's just been it's the kind of thing where I think I've removed even some of them because it's just like we go off for like 8 minutes talking about something that had no relevance whatsoever and wasn't even that entertaining for anyone but us. So yeah, maybe I'll leave this one in, just see if people actually enjoy it.
yeah,
But either way, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with our retrospective on the entire Ruby Spears show, where we'll be doing that thing that we did for Superboy a while back, where we compare episodes two at a time and
yep,
make our ranking that way. Should be fun. So yeah,
yep.
thank you all so much. See you next week. Goodbye.